Doing some routine maintenance on the Kubota today. I thought I'd bring it along. Hopefully the fan's not too loud. Either way, I'm leaving it on. So, starting with the air filter here. The air filter housing was just zip tied to the mount. I always thought it was just broke, and I realized it was just missing 2 bolts. So I put 2 bolts in it, good to go. This whole pile of gravel dust here came out of the filter housing, sitting right in the bottom of the cup here on the front. So I guess it did its job. All that dirt and crap settled down out of there, and the filter is definitely dirty, nice and plugged up. And I was wondering if I have to use that plastic fin deal, but there's one on the new filter. So, oh, what's this? Metal faces wing on rubber and metal gasket. What? Oh, there's a new, wow. Comes with a new washer and gasket for the end of it there. That's kind of nice. It says it's made in Mexico, but I'm alright with that. Could be worse, could be China, right? Slide that right on in there. Guess that's in. Yeah, I can't believe it came with a new rubber gasket and washer. It's like kind of impregnated, one-piece dealie. I don't know if you'd get that with the aftermarket stuff, but I really like buying OEM parts for that reason, that sometimes it seems like you get that extra little thing you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So I think I'm going to get the shop vac and suck all this crap up instead of getting it all over, and suck at that housing, and we'll move on to something else. And now we're going to swap out the fuel filter. Well, I know that's on because I was just running it, but there's a little Japanese symbols next to it, so I have no idea what position's what. It looks like the filter housing itself is loose. So we'll snug that down afterwards here. And let's see. And this is probably too big. Yeah, it's gonna be way too big. Oh, you know what? Actually, it's not. That fits right around there. Let's try that out. Alright. Oh yeah. This is actually for a oil filter. It's an oil filter wrench. Kind of oil filter pliers wrench dealie. And sometimes just weird tools like that actually look better than you'd think. Okay, come on. Oh, there it goes. And can you not remove it without taking the engine shield off? Maybe I can get the filter pulled down. Come on. There we go. Yep, we got it out of there. There was a little bit of old gas in this dish before I started, but there was no chunks in there. All that crap came out of the filter. And you can see how dark it is down there. This here is the new filter in comparison. Just to show you how disgusting that is. And that was the cat making a racket over there. We have the fuel filter reinstalled. So now we're going to bleed the air out of the system. This Kubota has a nut right here. You loosen up, and then you crank it over, and some air and fuel is going to come squirting out of here. Then we'll shut it, and we'll be all done. That's long enough, yeah. It's worse than that if you run it out of fuel, because then there's no fuel in the lines or the injection pump, But since all we did was drain the filter, that wasn't too bad. And the last thing we're going to do today is put a new valve cover gasket on it. It's got just kind of a mix of sludge around the top of it, and it's on both sides here. This side I think might have a little bit of diesel mixed in, so I don't know if the injectors are leaking a little bit as well, but that side over there is definitely oil. There's no way diesel's getting around over there. So it looks like it's just these three. I don't know if these are nuts or these are, they look like they're just nuts, I guess. And of course it's not, there we go. Now of course, before you do this, you want to do what I did, run it and get it nice and hot. So much more pleasant working on a hot engine, especially around this, well, you can't see it, the exhaust stack's right here. I'm reaching around the exhaust pipe right now. So much more pleasant when everything's burning hot. So there we go. As to be expected, that's nice and black in there. So we're going to take the valve cover off here, go to the bench, get it all cleaned up, put it back on. Believe it or not, under all that sludge is a nice gray valve cover. The original gasket, I'm sure it was the original from the factory, was just cooked. I mean, hard as a rock. So pretty much like plastic at this point. So putting this new one in here, it's all nice and supple, and it actually sticks below the. Now how are we going to do this? Because that's going to fall out of this the second I turn it over, isn't it? Yeah. This actually sticks down below the surface, whereas the other one was flush, you know, just from being cooked so long. It always makes me paranoid when I'm doing this kind of thing, and you're just praying that gasket stays in there. So we'll. Okay, I can see it. It's on there. We will just gingerly set her in there, trying not to bump anything. Where's the studs at? Come on, where's this? There's. What are we hitting? Oh! Here. Let's check it. Oh, okay, yeah, it's fine. I dropped it and it stayed in there, so it'll be fine. Okay, let's see here. Get her lined up. Put this little hose on. Come on. Now we're just going to hold it down tight, nice and snug, and run this center nut on so that it doesn't kind of halfway pop up and that gasket come off now. And we'll know right away if it's on or not. If it's not on, it's going to be leaking worse than it ever was before. So there we go, that's back on. Alright, put the other two nuts on and we're done. I need to change the oil. I've put that off until now. It's been about a week since I shot the rest of this video. For some reason I lost the second half of the valve cover replacement. I was saying I need to change the oil still. I've put that off because I wanted to power wash the top of the engine off, get the rest of the oil off of it, and in case I got any oil or any water in the engine in that process, I could change the oil and get it out. And any junk that might have fallen in while I had the valve cover off would, you know, get stuck in the oil filter, and I could get rid of that right away. But it's been about a week. I've used it once since then, and there's no drips. So I'm hoping that we've gotten this taken care of. Right about there, that dark spot is where it had puddled up last time. So hopefully this valve cover took care of it, and we're now leak free. So if you guys like this, please comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for next time. Our next installment, we'll be fixing these headlights here.